Hi, welcome to Bogey and Dave. I'm Dave, and I'm joined by my co-host, affectionately known as Bogey, Neil. Well, a lot of people think that our half hour spent on this show is too short a time, so let's get right into it. We've got some interesting things happening. We were just talking off camera about Saudi Arabia. Now, all of a sudden, another fire has popped up, and that is Saudi Arabia and Iran. And the Saudis are saying, we don't care what the United States is doing with Iran. That contract sucks, and we're going to go this alone, and we're going to handle it the way we think it should be handled, you know? And this goes back to these people. When I say these people, and everybody says, oh, that's a kind of a very inflammatory way of talking about people, but in the Middle East, they don't get along with each other. And I think we have got to remove ourselves from that picture. I really think we've got to, and just let them sort it out. Back our allies over there, Israel. But it's going to be an interesting thing if all of a sudden Saudi now starts siding with Israel.
I'm not even sure where to begin, because it's very sad that we open the new year with this. It's very, very sad, because it indicates the turmoil. And it also indicates the failed policies of our own government. And the thing is that, you know, I recently read somewhere that one's path to enlightenment can be very bumpy and harsh and painful. Enlightenment can be painful. And I believe that we're witnessing a shuffling of the deck.
Reshuffle.
We've talked about the New World Order before on here, okay? We're witnessing an upheaval in every conceivable high-level position and place in our global system and global society. Holistically, that means something. In accordance to spirituality, that means something. It's almost like the phoenix rising out of the ashes, but we haven't seen the phoenix yet. We're seeing the fires. We're seeing the ashes. We're seeing it.
Right.
So now, I mean, okay, Saudi Arabia and Iran. Let's not forget, as you said, Israel and Iran. Let's not now forget Russia and Turkey. Let's not forget the U.S. and Russia. Let's not forget China and Russia. Mm-hmm. And as together, and those two against the U.S. Let's also not forget Taiwan and Vietnam in the South China Sea against China. We have so many conflicts brewing. North Korea, South Korea. North Korea, the U.S. All of these things are all on the table right now as flashpoints for war. Mm-hmm. And it can be reasoned, and many in high-level government believe that it's already begun, war has already begun, in cyber wars, okay? Our cyber systems are being hacked and attacked, and meanwhile, we have a presidential candidate who had her servers entrusted to private organizations that had classified information on it.
Yeah, all this.
So, I mean, this is ridiculous. And meanwhile, while all this is blown up, we have a president who's still talking about gun control.
Yeah. His biggest thing with gun control is he's going to go after the dealer that sells 50 guns. I mean, it's like going after General Motors because some drunk gets in a car and decides to mow down 50 people or kill somebody in an accident. It's you know what? It's you, the people out there, you, myself. We've elected from the same bucket of garbage every single time there's an election. The same people we put back into power. You know, if you don't like what's on the Republican side, vote for Mickey Mouse. And to the Republicans out there, if you don't like what's on the Democrat side or the Republican side, then vote for Mickey Mouse. Write in your neighbor, write in somebody. Send a message to Washington and to the world that we're not going to reelect these same idiots who put us in this situation to begin with, and now they're clamoring and they're criticizing the very policies that they themselves have started. Yeah. And then they're not problem solvers. All they are screamers. They just scream at each other, and they pull this. They want to go for the celebrity status that they feel as though is going to get them elected. Now this pathetic creature, Hillary Clinton, is going to drag, in my opinion, one of the worst examples of presidents ever to hit. Because if anybody in today's private sector pulled what he did with an intern, they'd be fired. They wouldn't have an hour to clean out their desk. They would have been fired. And everybody says, well, it's just about sex. It's just about sex until it's just about sex in your own family. Then it's not just about sex. This guy should have been gone. And now they're going to drag him as her ace in the hole. I mean, this is the pathetic people that we put in power, Neil, and we wonder why we have this going on.
Well, and again, I go back to Enlightenment. I see the derision. I see the ill flavors. I see our mainstream media supporting these ill flavors, these immoral people and acts, or people who have committed immorality in the past. Now, if you go back 100 years, this was not tolerated. Yes, we had a president named Woodrow Wilson who implemented the income tax, and he was promptly reelected by the people. I don't know why.
Right.
You know, but if you isolate him and put him over here, we had a nation that believed in morality, that believed in ethics. And I'm not going to sit here and say, we should be prim and proper. Of course not.
We all have our peccadillos.
I believe in passion. I believe in pursuing your passion. I believe in art. I'm an artist. I believe in many of those things. But I also believe in integrity, in moral character. And if people are going to run for high office, they need to set an example. And right now we are having people who are running for office in this country who have committed immoral acts, and they're not being called immoral, or the moral compass is being skewed
and shifted
and redefined to match people's agendas,
right,
what they want, whom they want to get elected. And so that means that, as I've said before on the show, the mainstream media is complicit in these awful things that are occurring, not only in this nation right now, but also throughout the world. And the thing is also, is I recently read that there are as many as, getting back to gun control, there's as many as 470 deaths in Chicago, which has gun control.
Right, the strictest laws of gun control.
And they've had over 3,000 gun incidents, gun crime incidents, shootings in Chicago. It's not working. So that should tell the people immediately, all right, so this president, he's calling it gun control, but what is it really? Look behind the curtain. This isn't about gun control. This is about simply control and taking the guns away, because we're the only nation left on earth that has guns. And that ruins the whole New World Order paradigm.
Right. We're the last person standing between us and complete control by a bunch of people that can't control their own lives and have put us into this position. I keep going back to, at one time we had the Tea Party. Whether you like the Tea Party or not, it gave us a third choice. We need more choices. And if we don't get these choices, then let's force these choices by not electing the people, the same people over again. Isn't it strange how all of these things with Hillary's emails all of a sudden have kind of like disappeared off the front page? Where are they? What's going on?
And you know what's on the front page now today? They are trashing. Now, I don't know all the facts to the case, but I find it very interesting that the whole Bundy group in Oregon that has seized control of the Federal Reserve to defend or to stand up and protest the arrest of 2 people, in which the government is trying to seize land, basically, which they've been doing for a while now. They've been seizing land. They've been going after farmers. This is not a secret.
Yeah.
I find it very interesting that CNN and Fox today were both on there saying basically, so see, these people, they call themselves constitutionalists,
right,
but of course, if you call yourself that, you're going to look good. They're trashing them.
Right.
They're trashing them because the agenda message is, listen, mainstream media, we are the government, we're the voice box. Get out there right now and tell everyone this group's bad. Tell them they're bad because we don't want to get anybody else with the same ideas. This is how the mainstream media works. And it says, okay, uncle, I'll do that. Okay, everyone, these are bad guys. Don't listen to them. They're bad guys. And the public, the deaf public, will say, oh, mainstream media, Fox and CNN just said they're bad guys. They must be bad guys. No, we don't know all the facts of the case. We don't know all of the innards to why they're there. These are people who feel wronged and are standing up for what they perceive to be tyranny by the government, which is why we have the Second Amendment in the first place. And people will say, they'll say, I'm sorry, they'll say, well, tyranny existed 250 years ago. That law is antiquated. Really? What are we seeing right now with like Big Pharma and the FDA and shoving chemicals down our throats and putting them in the air and putting them in our foods and mandating genetically modified chickens and allowing genetically modified salmon to be sold in our markets? If that's not tyranny, a form of tyranny, I don't know what else is.
And really affecting our health.
Of course.
But let's go back to a statement that Samuel Jackson, this is one of, we were talking about the 5 bad things, idiotic things.
Top 5?
Top 5. This is my top 5. Samuel L. Jackson, one of the biggest, I mean, he's a celebrity, and some of his movies, he always acts the same character in every single one of his movies. He's an idiot. He makes a comment that he was disappointed that it wasn't a crazy white man that had pulled the stunt in San Bernardino. Now, he said, only under this president, only under Bush has terrorism in this country started. Did he forget February 26, 1993, under Clinton, when they first tried to take down the World Trade Center? I mean, if you're going to get your facts,
terrorism
get them
in the
straight.
1970s with a whole Iran crisis.
The whole Iran crisis.
Was it Waite?
Yeah.
What's his name? Waite? Ralph Waite? Was that his name?
Yeah, Ralph Waite. Yeah. I mean, it goes on. It's like they forget about things like that, and because they want to fit the narrative that it's all Bush's fault, and it's all the Republicans' fault, and it's all crazy white man's fault. And you want to know something, Jackson? You've proven yourself by opening up your mouth to be a fool.
Yeah. It's sad again.
Number 2, okay?
Yeah.
That was number 2.
Yeah.
Was the Yankees recently, and this is about sports, but the interesting part to this was the Yankees recently traded for Aroldis Chapman.
Yeah, I saw that.
Now, allegedly, this guy had some domestic problems that were unproven. He was never charged. His wife never made a complaint. Okay, so it went away. Well, nobody wanted him. Well, the Yankees got him at a fire sale. They got him essentially for nothing. Right away, the women's groups are screaming about that. But where are the women's groups' voices while females are being emasculated, killed, and stoned under Sharia law? Where's your voices then? You don't say a word about it. But as soon as something that's as trivial as sports happens, and they go crazy.
Yeah.
That's number 2. So we
talk
talk about our top 5. That to me was
a really good one.
Just another example of how women's groups shut their mouths when it's really something they should be talking about, and they should really be protesting at the embassies of these countries that allow women to be treated that way. But
that's very good.
They don't. Okay.
That's very good.
Now,
I think. Go ahead.
Number 3.
Yeah.
Number 3. This country, every single state has a Department of Motor Vehicles.
Yeah.
And I want to talk about this because this really, really bothers me. Most departments like that, and this is why they fear Trump getting in, by the way, because he'll look under these departments federally and say they're a waste of money, let's get rid of them. The Department of Motor Vehicles, what does it do? It tests people for licensing, which can be done better by the schools that train people to drive. Let them test the kids or the people for a license. Number 2, registration of cars and getting your plates. You go buy a car, what does your car dealership do? Oh, we'll take care of that for you. So why don't you let the car dealers be able to hand out plates and register your car and file it with the state? And anything else that goes on, the redoing of your driver's license, that can be done at the town hall. Let the money sit there in the local town hall, and let them take care of it. It can be done more efficiently and better with no overhead. But yet we have these, and why does the DMV exist? Because it's a dumping ground for political favors. Because we've yet to take money out of the equation of politics. And once that's removed, all of these things will go away. Mm-hmm. Because once you give me money for my campaign, now you come up to me, geez, I got a couple of nephews, or my son needs a job. I'll get him a job at the Department of Education. Mm-hmm. And that's what Trump will look at, and it will go away. An interesting thing that he pointed out when you speak about the media, some newspaper up in New Hampshire trashed Trump, and he held up their newspaper of the day, 5 pages long. all those media outlets that was feeding us garbage for years are disappearing.
They really are.
And rightfully so, because they've done nothing except lie to us. And that goes with the big three. And I'm losing faith in Fox by the day.
I have none.
Yeah.
I have none.
And you talk about holistic approach, and you talk about it begins with how we treat our neighbor, and not just our neighbor in terms of proximity to our homes, but our neighbors even at work. There is very little respect in the workplace for somebody that you work with. You don't have to like them, but at least respect what they're bringing to the table.
Right.
And even if they're not doing their job, that's not for you to decide. That's for somebody above you to decide, and treat them still until the day they walk out of there with respect. If that is given to each person, what a better situation we'd have amongst ourselves. But I want you to speak a little bit more about the financial, which kind of goes a little bit over my head in terms of why did the Federal Reserve up the interest rate at a time when we're on a real deep slide with the Wall Street?
That's why.
That's why?
Yeah. Yeah, it's all playing, and this is like they're on the defensive right now. They're trying to see. They're trying to see. All right, so if it falls here, let's do this. If it looks like these indicators are popping off, let's do this. But they're all negative signs. They're all negative indicators, negative triggers. That's what they're looking at, because that's what we're in right now. And the thing is that oil was starting to creep back up in the last couple sessions, but now because of Saudi Arabia-Iran conflict, it started to go back down again today, which is really interesting. So what struck me was I read a news piece about JP Morgan Chase, and they're going to raise the rates on their big clients whenever they make a deposit. Now, the people are going to start to hear more and more the term net interest. It basically means it's gravy, okay? It costs banks nothing to accept money from people. When you make a deposit,
Right.
that costs the bank nothing to file that deposit. You will see, I predict, eventually, more and more mainstream big banks like Bank of America, JP Morgan's already doing it, maybe Citizens. You'll start to see some of the bigger banks possibly start to charge people for putting money in their bank, for using their bank, which is absolutely pure 100% profit. It's egregious. I believe they're going to start to look to doing this because they're in trouble. And also because of the digital currency. There's a digital currency that will soon be. I also predict eventually they're going to get rid of paper money. And what that will do is the banks will have all control. Government will have all control. They want to shut someone's funds off. You do it with a keyboard.
Right.
Boom. This guy's done. You can't take money in him out anymore. Done. And the thing is that you're going to have to use the banks for this. So it's going to allow them to charge people for deposits. And it's going to become the new norm. You see, Bank of America, banks like Bank of America, JP Morgan Chase will do this to establish a new normal, get people used to hearing it, then put it out there to another bank, let them see it more. Then let's put it in the news media, let them talk about it. Then go wide with it. They do it in phases. Let's get people used to it, the new norm. That's all we are, is a bunch of guinea pigs.
So they're going to start charging us, I mean, it's eventually going to happen for whenever we make a deposit. Without the money that we, the people, are depositing into these banks, they don't have that cash, that liquid asset, to turn around and use to make money with. They'll just
take it out of your account. It'll be like a 0.5%. It may be something
surcharge.
small
Right.
surcharge.
Right.
0.5% on every deposit made.
You
and then eventually it could go 1% every deposit made. I mean, it's
strange you say that, because something just clicked. I have a number of a couple of accounts because of the businesses that small businesses that I have, and I was told recently. I said, why did I get charged on this particular debit card? They said, well, if you don't use that debit card 3 times a month, you get charged a $15 a month fee for not using it.
Gotta be kidding.
So if I have a debit card that I don't use, so the guy said, listen, Dave, he said, just go out and buy a cup of coffee with it. Well, what if a person has several? How can they remember that they have to use it 3 times a month in order not to get a charge for it? Because you know what? They're banking that we're going to miss that, and they're banging us for that $15.
Yeah.
It's just like an incident that I had happen at Sprint. I don't mind saying this because it's a fact.
Yeah.
I went to Sprint, my phone broke. I went there with the intention of getting another phone. I get there and the person says, nah, you don't want that phone. We have a deal going on over here with Samsung. If you get the Samsung Galaxy, we're going to give you a tablet for free. The word free means free. I mean, and I asked the gentleman 3 times, they said, free, no strings attached. It's free. I'm not going to get you. It's free, sir. Okay, great. I get home and I find out I get whacked $27.50 a month for that tablet, and they assigned a phone number to a device that I can't even make a phone call with. So, of course, I go back and I'm steaming mad. It took me 2 months and a lot of screaming and yelling and back and forth between Sprint and what have you to get that money back because they lied to me, and I sent the tablet back.
They forged your signature.
They forged my signature on a document because when they sent me the documents...
Which is a crime.
Yeah, which I didn't bring up, but they sent me my documents that I had allegedly signed. Yes, I signed the one for the phone. I never signed this one. I said, look at the signature. Not even close to my signature. And I said, do you want to go to court with this? Because if you do, you're going to lose. And that's when that was the tipping point. But somebody there had signed my signature to usage of that particular device. But why are you lying to people?
That, and see, this goes back
and again,
to the moral
wait a minute.
compass.
We don't read that document that's 8 pages long that some scurrilous lawyer put together and wrote in such a way that we don't have the time to read it. But guess what, folks? Stop. Don't be in a rush. Take it home and read it. Read it.
Yeah, but even if you read it, they
You may
still
not
have you.
underst- yeah.
They still have you right where they want you
Right.
because
Because
there's only a few people offering these things now. It's a monopolized industry.
Right.
Everywhere you turn.
Right.
You know, it's like the news media is only owned by 6 networks. Everything is owned by 6 networks.
6 people control.
6 people control everything.
6 people control
6 parties.
over 300 million
It's crazy. You know, it's like we only have Democrat and Republican. Has anyone ever paused and said, why?
Could you imagine if we only had 2
Why
cars?
do we only have 2 parties?
Right, choice of 2 cars, Chevy and a Ford. Can you imagine that?
Yeah.
I mean, we would still be buying built-in obsolescence in vehicles.
So this goes back to, this again makes me very, very disappointed because again, holistically again, we're not considering each
Our
other
fellow man.
in a kind,
Right.
loving, considerate manner anymore.
Right.
It's devoid. And the thing is that people are short-circuiting out there. They're getting desperate. Our economy, they've stopped talking about the economy. Do you realize this?
Yeah.
They have stopped
Not a word about
talking about it. It is still not good.
They're not even asking it in the general, in these debates. A huge election's coming up, a national election, and they're not even asking about.
The only one who's talking about it, ironically, is Trump.
It's Trump, and his plan actually is a pretty interesting plan. But
and
you
again,
know
I'm
what?
not going to sit here
and push to Trump.
I'm not going to do that.
No.
I'm not going to stump for Trump.
No.
I'm not here to do that.
No.
Not yet. But I mean, again, I'd take Mickey Mouse over Hillary.
Yeah.
But the thing is it's just only because I believe if you're going to run for that office, don't have any skeletons in the closet.
No. And let's get the best of the best.
Yeah. Why can't we have a good person? Just a good. Is that even? Are they even out there anymore? Right. Can I just have a good person?
Right.
Give me a good candidate.
When any one of us, no matter what side of the equation you're on, Democrat or Republican, go for a job. You put your resume out there. You are vetted. Your whole background is turned upside down. They, in fact, today, companies are looking into your
everything,
your financial background and
your
credit history.
They even look at your Facebook page.
Right, your Facebook page, everything else before they hire you. Yet we are not going to take a good hard look. Why would anybody consider Hillary Clinton I mean, she's the one I pick out the most because she has got nothing but baggage. But why would you even consider that? We should be considering a wealth of different people.
Listen, there have been athletes who went to jail for being accessories to murder. They didn't even commit the murder. They were accessories.
Right.
There are people who have died under Hillary Clinton's watch.
Right. Exactly.
And she's just, but she's Hillary Clinton.
Yeah.
I mean, what?
They live under a different umbrella than the rest of us, and they get away with it. Wesley Snipes went to jail for exactly what she has now been accused of doing by not filing all of hundreds of millions of dollars that they have made in these speeches. They said, oh, we didn't think we had to file that because it was part of a foundation. Every nonprofit organization, because I'm the head of one, in this country has to file tax records if you make over $25,000 a year, but not them. No.
So let me put this in perspective.
Because we're down to 2.5 minutes.
Yeah, zooming out, okay? Right. What this does, everything that we've talked about today, all the fires that are being lit across this entire world, all of the flashpoints of possible war, the derision with which people treat each other and are treating each other, the skirmishes that are occurring, the fights, the arguments, the conflicts, the immorality, that is where, holistically, we are all one. And that is where, also, slowly it builds like a big snowball going down a hill, and it comes back like a boomerang, but it comes back to everybody on this planet.
That's right.
And I believe there's a reason. There's a bigger reason why we have all of the volcanoes suddenly are active again. Mm-hmm. Okay, they're all starting to pop off. You're starting to see things in the skies people haven't seen before. You're starting to have amazing occurrences cosmically. It's not about global warming. Yes, things are happening, absolutely, but it's not mostly man-made. And I believe the government is using this because they want to further their agenda and scare people. They're the ones who are scaring people, not the average individual. The average individual just wants to get up every morning and be happy and enjoy their life and lives, and they should.
Yeah.
They should be able to do so. But now people are starting to panic. They're short-circuiting. They're having trouble providing for their families now still. It's not good.
No.
Not good. We have an absence of love. We have an absence of wholesomeness. Mm-hmm. And we better wake up before it's too late. And I'm not sure. We're getting to that point where I'm not sure if it's going to happen.
Yeah. You get to a point where you've gone beyond whether or not it can happen. But I believe that ultimately that people will wake up, and maybe, we're not heard by millions of people.
The people will be first.
But I hope that if we can change one person out there and just say, listen, don't vote for Republican or Democrat. Vote for any. If you don't like what you see up there, believe me, just write in somebody who you believe in. I don't care if it's Abraham Lincoln, but we have got to change the way we do things.
But even beyond politics, we need more empathy.
Yes,
we do. Look up the word empathy.
And respect.
And practice it.
Right.
Empathy. Put yourself in other people's shoes and be kind. Don't steal from them. Don't swindle them. Don't forge their signatures on contracts. Don't break into their homes. Home invasions are on the rise.
Yeah. Exactly, because people are up against the wall, in which we are. We're up to our last second. I want to thank you for watching. Have a safe and happy New Year, and remember to tell those people that are important in your life, your loved ones, that you care about them and you appreciate that they're part of your life. And we'll see you in a couple of weeks. So.